Yes, I do worry. Many times I have problems and plans also. If I am not sure whether the plan will be successful or not, I start worrying.
I have two school-going children, and when their report card comes, and I see in some subjects they have got less marks, I worry.
I do worry many times. I have many problems at my working place.
Friends, in these days to come we are going to talk on some matters which are so important to us. We feel so many times we feel tense, we feel afraid, we feel concerned, we feel something good should happen on one hand. At the other, there are occasions where we feel very relaxed, we feel fine, comfortable, happy, so many changes of mood we undergo. If we were able to ask somebody, would you like to be tense? He would say no. Would you like to be anxious? No. Worried? No. But if we were to say, would you like to be happy? Everybody would say, yes, I would. There would hardly be anybody who would say, no, I don't want to be happy. That precisely, my friends, is what we are going to see in this series. We are going to talk about don't worry, be happy. There is a beautiful proverb, Chinese proverb, that says, you can't prevent birds of care and worry from flying over your heads, but you can certainly prevent them from building their nest in your head. Yes, worry is going to be there, anxiety is going to be there, fear is going to be there, but we should not allow that to build its own nest in our head. That is what we are going to see in the first part of the series, Don't Worry. We will be seeing what worry is like, what anxiety is, what feeling concern is, the psychology of it. And then obviously everybody would say, I want to reduce my tension. What are the psychological ways? There are certain common sense things, but there is a lot of psychology which is behind it. So we are going to see in the first half of the series, what's anxiety, what's worry, what's its nature, how does it come about, how to reduce it, how to be comfortable with our worries and anxieties. Feeling comfortable, my friends, that's the point. And that would take us to the second part of the series, be happy. In order to be happy, well, happiness is an attitude, but then there are so many shades. You feel nice, you feel comfortable, there is pleasure, there is feeling, there is satisfaction, and finally there is happiness. You have thirst, you drink water, you feel very hot and you put the fan on. So these are all sensual pleasures. You have a good food and you say, oh, I feel satisfied. And you get success and you feel I am happy with my success. So pleasure, comfort, satisfaction and happiness. This is what we are going to see in the other part of the series, be happy. We will also be seeing some methods, simple practical suggestions on how one could be happy. So simplest thing, my friend, the dictum, the message of this series is don't worry, be happy.
I made a mistake. I mean, I should have. That's what you got caught in an accident. You died, somebody threw you. I know you must be terribly worried, but I could not get out of anything. Of course I was worried. I could not get out of the video. But you put me 45 minutes late. I know, but it has.
Friends, don't worry, be happy. Don't worry. First of all, let's find out what the term worry ever means. And let's go by common sense things. There is somebody sitting there and we say, ah, he is worried. Or if you ask somebody, what's it that you are worried about? He would say, oh, this thought comes to my mind and that thought comes to my mind, and what would happen if I fail, and what would happen if this goes wrong and that goes wrong. In other words, my friends, first characteristic of worry is it is a chain of thoughts. And what type of thoughts? Suppose there is a chain of thoughts where you feel, I have become a big cricketer and I have taken a century and I was never bowled. Nobody would say you are worried. You would say, you are happy there. So, it is a chain of thoughts which are negative in nature. You do not know what would be the outcome, but you have a feeling that the outcome would be negative. Main feature of worry is it is a chain of thoughts, perhaps chain of images also. You can see, you probably see the visual images, but mainly negative thoughts. So, it is a chain of thoughts which is negatively affect laden. Affect means emotion. So, it is a chain of thoughts about which you feel bad, you do not feel comfortable. So, it is a chain of thoughts or images which are negatively affect laden, and there is a possibility of an unfavorable outcome. The outcome is uncertain, you do not know what is going to happen, unfavorable outcome. What is the characteristic further? If it is so, what is it that you are trying to do by worrying or being anxious? You are trying to do problem solving. That is in fact the most important function of worry, but about the positive functions of worry we will see little later. Immediate thing is that man within whatever means that are available to him. The moment only means available to him is thinking. What he is trying to do is problem solving. So, there is a problem to face, there is a possibility of an uncertain outcome, and there is a possibility that the outcome could be negative. In other words, there is fear. So, fear becomes converted into worry, worry becomes a content. It is, anxiety is something like a container, and within the container there is kept worry. So, you are worried, and then anxiety has two parts. One is worry, we have seen that is a chain of negative thoughts and so on and so forth. Another part is emotionality. What is this emotionality? We know emotions. We say, he is happy. How do we know he is happy? He is laughing. We say, he is afraid. How do we know he is afraid? If we ask him, how do you know? He would say, I got a feeling as if something is churning in my stomach. He would say, I am getting palpitation. I was so afraid, I was sweating. So, these physiological parts, the bodily experience of whatever negative emotion you are experiencing is called emotionality. So, anxiety, my friends, anxiety comprises of two parts. One, the worry, secondly, the emotionality. There are many surveys, many studies which are done, but let us look at one which has lasted over a length of time and which has been a nationwide survey. 3 scientists, whereof Duvon and Kulka did a multicentric study for a period of 19 years, 1957 to 1976. The data required quite a length of time for processing. It was published in 1981. Now, just imagine, my friends, a large country like America, a multicentric study, meaning thereby that the data were collected from all over the country and the study lasted for 19 years. Total experiment required 25 years, a quarter of a century. Hence, it is quite a valid finding, and these scientists came to a conclusion that people, when they report about their health, their main concern about reporting is worry. Most of the people, when they talk, complain, report about their health, they are talking about worry. So, undoubtedly worry is increasing, but then some skeptical man, well, I am aware we are talking to an intelligent audience, somebody would say these are surveys. After all, you are talking of a finding on paper. What about life? What about the real life situation? So, the scientists who were aware of limitations of a survey went into the deeper part, looking at the life aspect, whether in life it is so. So, they went to various doctors and asked the doctors what complaint the patients make to them. Now, see the beauty of the design. It was the family doctors to whom the investigators went. Family doctor, important thing. The patient goes to the family doctor for practically everything in his life. He is his friend, philosopher and guide. He is one person with whom the patient is not likely to tell a lie. He is likely to speak the truth. So, they went to the doctors and found out what are the exact words in which the patients tell their complaints, and they came to a conclusion that when patients speak about their complaints, especially the mental complaints or the psychological complaints, the words related to worry, like I am worried, I am tense, I am feeling down, I am feeling stressed, oh I feel there are tight ropes around me, all such complaints were notably on increase. So, even in a life situation, the finding would be that the worry, anxiety and tension are all on increase. Let us see now in a life situation what it is like. Here is a mother who is seeing the child off to the school. The child goes to the school and the mother is worried whether something wrong would happen to the child, whether an accident would occur. So, expectation of an unwanted outcome is what is shown in this cartoon, number 1. Number 2, the mother knows that the thought is irrational, yet she cannot control it. So, continuous uncontrollable stream of unwanted negative thoughts is what we have seen in this cartoon. Now, this another cartoon. Here is a student who wants to study, he is trying to study and he is fidgety. There are 2 points to be seen in this particular cartoon. Number 1, the student has a problem, he wants to study and he cannot. So, he is trying all the more, once more, again and again to study. It is a mental problem solving, one thing to learn. Number 2, he is fidgety, that is the emotionality that we saw. We said anxiety is 2 parts, worry and emotionality, the physical part. Here the student is fidgety. Now we go to the third one. Here is a man who is going to the office and a black cat crosses the road. Black cat may as well cross the road, but that is the trigger stimulus which acts on his mind, and his mind goes into all sorts of negative expectations that he would go into the office and the boss will get angry with him and something uncertain untowards would happen and he would be given a memo, so on and so forth. So, here is a situation where the person in the course of worry goes on inviting upon himself a chain of negative outcomes. And now here is the fourth cartoon where the man is coughing. Now, cough is something simple. Everybody gets a cough or a sneeze or a common cold. But here is a man who goes on worrying whether he has serious disease like cancer or tuberculosis or something much more which affects the lungs. Cough is simple, but this man would go to the length of seeing he has a cancer or tuberculosis. So, thus creating an unduly large negative image is a feature of worry or anxiety.